Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time, back with the one and only Anna Kelly. How you doing, Anna?
I'm doing well. Happy Christmas week.
Yes, happy Christmas week, happy holidays. Last week, we had an exciting show. We talked about how you were able to buy direct from a builder, get after series rounds of negotiation, get it for roughly 30% under list price, which is
Yes.
pretty awesome.
Yes.
But you and I, or at least I knew, there was a broader story, right? This transaction might be the most meaningful real estate transaction you have ever done. So, how can that be possible? How can this one house in San Antonio, Texas, be the most meaningful transaction you have ever done? Tell us.
It truly is, Michael. So I was able to buy my mom a house, and it's something that means so much to me because as those of you who've read my story, I grew up in apartments and my mom was a leasing agent. She worked three jobs to take care of us. She was a battered woman and she worked really hard to get out of that and to provide for us. And my mom has had a really challenging life. She currently she's amazing. She's raising my two nephews who are on the autism spectrum, and her husband had a stroke. And so she's a full-time caretaker, and she's lived in an apartment complex all these years and has not had her own home ever. And so I was able to buy this house for my mom, pay cash, and set her up to live in a really beautiful home in the best school district for my nephews, with the lowest crime in San Antonio. Just a beautiful, beautiful home. So yesterday was her 70th birthday, and I was able to surprise her in front of her new home, and it meant so much to me.
Us. How many of us would love to buy mom a home or some relative that's helped you along the way? That I mean, I has this always been a goal of yours, or did it come around, or this is amazing. This is just wow.
Thank you. I always wanted to get my mom into a better situation, but I really didn't have the means to do it. And so it took me a long time just to build the financial freedom that we talked about in video number 2, to be able to leave my job and to be able to support my kids. And so my first goal was replace my income, create the financial freedom, and be able to take care of my kids. And then after that, after I left AIG about 4 years ago, I started saying, I really would like to buy my mom a house, and I need to figure out the right timing, the right place, how we're going to do it. And for a long time, Michael, I was building rich and cash poor, so I had a lot of equity in
Been
business.
there, been there.
I just didn't have a ton of cash. And
Yeah.
when I started to see that the market was, I believe, peaking, I started selling a bunch of properties. And
Yep.
as I started to sell and get liquidity, I thought, this is the time. This is the time that I've got cash. I can buy something cash. Because the challenge was, if I got a property at the top of the market, even with low interest rates, my mortgage payment would be quite a bit. And so I'd be out of pocket every month. By being able to say, hey, let me find when the market starts to soften and prices come down a little bit, I have the ability to now pay cash. I want to start doing it. So it's been a driver of mine for about 2 years. And I thought, this is the time to do it when I've got the cash. And where am I going to find the best neighborhood, and how am I going to get her into that house? And perfect timing with builders having to slash prices and being extremely motivated. I thought, this is the time to go in. There's no time like the present.
Yeah. So again, you had a thesis, you took action. So you were not in Texas. You were home. You were doing a FaceTime or something, I'm guessing.
Correct. So my sister-in-law is a realtor. So I
Oh,
called
okay.
her and I said,
Oh,
this is
nice.
a surprise. I want you to look at these neighborhoods for me, find someplace that's near her, with the best school districts. And there were about 5 neighborhoods that had newer homes. And so I started looking at which ones have the best schools, which ones are closest for my mom to not have to drive real far, which ones have the best amenities nearby, lowest crime, et cetera. And so we just narrowed it down to a couple of neighborhoods. And then I went on the process of saying, I want 30% off. Here's what I want, and which builder is going to give it to me. And that's where she's going to live.
Yeah, and this is key, right? Some people saw our videos last week where you got 30% off from a builder and they're like, "Oh, I just call any builder." And no, she went through a whole process. She was willing to talk
Yes.
to all the builders and figure
Yes.
out which one was ready to deal, right? Again, it's not easy. It's not permission not to do the work. She was negotiating.
Absolutely.
You went back and forth 2 or 3 different times. They gave you a price. You said not good enough. You did this, you did that. You were willing to close this year if it was meaningful to them. You did work to
Oh,
make this happen.
absolutely. And I really didn't ever dream I'd be able to buy her a brand new home, Michael. Full disclosure. I was looking in
Sure.
a little bit older neighborhoods for something that, was big enough for them. And in the price range that I wanted to be, I was looking at homes built in the 60s and 70s,
I would
in
expect, yeah.
various parts of town. And when I realized, hey, there is a major need for sellers to offload properties, for builders to offload properties, and that they're highly motivated because they've got to move thousands of properties. This is where there's the most motivated sellers. So rather than trying to negotiate a bunch of older homes, put some money into fixing them up, I'm like, I think I can actually get a new home for
Ah,
cheaper than what these older homes are for. And so that was my goal. Had I not done the work and known what will it cost me to buy a 1970s vintage 3-bedroom, 2-bath anywhere that there was good schools and low crime, I would have never known whether a new price at 30% off, a new home at 30% off was a good deal or not. I knew it was a great deal, a great deal. So I did the work, found the right property, and it's just a tremendous blessing to be able to do this for my mom.
and you negotiated multiple conversations back
Yeah.
and forth. This wasn't on, didn't just call up and say, "I'll give you 30 points." And the builder said, yes. That's not how it works, right? It was a full on process. And you were willing to walk and go to the next builder, and the builders know that. And yeah, you did the work. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm so thankful. And it's just kind of going back to video number 2, this financial freedom number. When you make a commitment that growing wealth is possible, that becoming financially free is possible, and you get there, being able to turn around and say, how can I now bless other people with what I've been blessed with? There is absolutely no greater feeling than that. So, lots of transactions I've been excited about, selling the practice, selling my first, building that I house hacked, buying my first home, but I don't think any of it compares to being able to buy a home for my mom.
I got to tell you, there's lots of folks out there dreaming bigger now, that they wanted, the ultimate goal is to buy their mom or their dad or their sister, whatever it is, a home. Pretty awesome. So how did it go? So they surprised her. Tell us about the setup in this. She had to think it was a dream, I'm guessing.
Yes, she said that multiple times. I could never have dreamt this, and
Wow, that's
it was amazing. So the realtor, on the representative of the builder,
sure.
went all out. He rolled out the red carpet. He got a boom box and he was playing "Happy Birthday."
Oh,
Happy birthday to you. And so my
yeah,
mom
it's
went
great.
out, she was dancing around and just in shock. She's like, what? This is really my house. And so
Fine. Yeah, that's fine.
watching her, through FaceTime, my sister FaceTimed with me
Sure.
and with my mom, was able to kind of watch it in real time and just to see her reaction. She said she had written a song about a dream and how dreams really do come true. And so it was just so sweet to be able to see how happy she was and excited she was, and to know that she's really going to be in the house that she can live in the rest of her life, and that she's going to be okay. The kids are going to be okay. And that, my nephews are in such a good school system that can help them with their special needs, really can have a ripple effect. And so she definitely is still pinching herself. I'm just so grateful to be able to do it.
Folks, that's the kind of person Anna Kelly is. If you're not following her already, what are you doing? Where can they find you, Anna?
Thank you so much. You can follow me on social media, Anna Kelly, REI Mom, my website, reimom.com.
So awesome. Thanks, Anna.